Urban Radio gubernatorial debate on Urban 94.5. Remember, you can be part of the conversation all through the day, all through the night. We are on Twitter. Our hashtag is hashtag Urban Radio Guber Debate. Guber is spelled G-U-B-E-R. That is G-U-B-E-R. All right. Ask any questions as it relates to the discussions on board. All right. Like we promised, we'll be back with the second candidate for today. Apparently, he was supposed to be on the debate with the ADC candidate, Kajetan Eze, but he couldn't make it because of his schedule. All right. But he's here right now, so we're going to go through and have him talk to us about what he's got to do when he takes over this Saturday. And remember, this gubernatorial debate is Urban Radio modest and sincere contribution towards enriching, sustaining, strengthening, and consolidating the gains and successes so far recorded in our democratic evolution as a state and country. A robust and issue-oriented political debate would not only add flair, excitement, color, flavor to our democratic practices, but would also galvanize the electorate to vote for the party and candidate of their choice. Another benefit derivable from this debate is that it would provide unique opportunity and forum for the candidate and the political parties to advance and propagate various political ideologies and manifestos. The resounding success of this debate would usher harmony, free and fair election. In addition, the democratic ethos and culture it would entrench in Enugu State cannot be overemphasized. So we want to welcome Your Excellencies to this very engaging debate. Good evening to you, Dr. Chidi.
Good evening, Charles. Thank you for having me on your program. Let me start by apologizing. I don't like doing it, but this was unavoidable because of when we finally got confirmation. We already had things programmed. In particular, we had a rally today at Nachi in Udi local government area, and we were going to make it on time, but the kind of road that we have over there, it was something else. So, but I'd like to apologize to our listeners and to you for not making it on time like I promised.
All right, so let's begin. Let's begin. Let's go on right
let's
now.
Do it.
So let's start from knowing you. Who are you?
My name is Dr. Chidi Cadet Wayanwo. I'm an architect by training. I'm an entrepreneur. I own the fixed team building construction company. We have practices in Nigeria and in Toronto, Canada. I'm a philanthropist. I am the CEO with my wife of My Roots Foundation. I also own Worship Media and a couple of other businesses like Fixed Team Suits. It's a real estate company. We do rentals, and I'm a minister of the gospel. I am an artist. I have a 12-track album. I am an artist. I am in so many other things.
Right. Where are you from?
I'm from Ozala, Umuane in Ozala, in Kano West local government area of Enugu State.
So, why do you want to become the governor of Enugu State?
I want to become the governor of Enugu State because I have all my life just always been in positions of leadership, either by design or by some other coincidences. In primary school, in secondary school days, I used to be the energy prefect at the Dennis Memorial Grammar School. When I got to University of Nigeria, I was a student union activist, and I also was in positions of leadership. I actually opened a company in school, so I was leading that company. And then when I finished, when we get to youth service, I was the platoon commandant. The platoon commander in our youth service days. I practiced a little bit, and then I went to Canada. When I got to Canada, because of my involvement in leadership in Nigeria, I could get firsthand. I knew firsthand the problems that we're facing in this part of the country. And when I got to Canada, I saw the lifestyle there. I saw a system that worked. I saw that our people were so relaxed with everything that was going well, but I was so uneasy because I know where I left. So I quickly got into our community association there, and under 1 year I became the president of the Enugu State Association in Canada, and I did the much I could. I organized the first time a trade conference, and the then governor of Enugu State, Sullivan Chime, he did very well with me in that. He sent 3 commissioners because he couldn't come. He was away in China then. But we worked then exposing Enugu State government to foreign investors in Canada. And I didn't, after my tenure as the president of Enugu State Association, I went on to become the president of the Nigerian community in Canada. And those were me trying to do what I can to change the situation of things back home. And when I was doing that, in trying to protect the interests of Nigerians in Canada, we had a lot of protests against the government in Nigeria because of what we saw. So every time there was something going on, we were protesting on the streets of Canada, even at minus 25 degrees. We did all of that, and then people started yabbing us. They say, you people, you're always on the internet making noise. You're always tweeting, you're always on Facebook and all of that. That if you have the balls, you should come down here and do it right here. That, you know, it was a challenge, the truth was. And so we had to prove to them that we were serious about this. And so when our presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, started the Take It Back movement, and then he started from New York, and he said he was coming to Toronto, and I helped organize the town hall meeting in Toronto. My meeting with him changed everything. Already I knew him through Sahara Reporters and Worship Media. We worked on several sensitive cases, one of which was the pastor that had the issue with the lady from Canada.
Right.
And then when he told me of the vision he had for Nigeria, immediately it struck a string, in me, and then I abandoned my desire to be the counselor of my community there in Canada. I already bought the form, but Sowore said, "Hey Chidi, just leave these people here. Their life is okay. They don't need help. We need help in Nigeria. Let's go do it." I'm like, okay, let's go do it. And that's how the rest is history. And I'm today the governorship candidate of the African Action Congress. So it's been all about making a change in the life of my people, because I've always had a first-hand information of the kind of situation that we have here. I left Nigeria for Canada, but my spirit never left Nigeria.
Right. You said you've always been in leadership all through. Yeah. Tell us 2 basic leadership quality you think a leader should have.
A leader should come into an environment and see problems and solutions that other people are not able to see. You don't need people to tell you. Once you enter an environment, you just, like, it's almost like a problem for me. I'm almost like obsessed. If I walk into a place, I just begin to see problems and I begin to think about solutions. That is one quality that a leader must have. A leader must be somebody who is also able to offer their life or whatever they can offer without thinking about the immediate benefits for them. Those are qualities. There are so many qualities that a leader should have, but for me, those are basic things that a leader should have. Because if a leader is not able to see things, if a leader has to study, if a leader has to be shown, if they have to show you the problems in wherever you come, then you don't actually teach leadership. It's something that you feel. It's something that is there. It's either you have it or you don't have it. Of course, you can go and learn leadership, as a course, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. You have to have compassion. You have to look at people and just suddenly have compassion for them. You can look at somebody who is dressed up, looking good, smelling nice, and you can see through them that they have an issue that they're suffering. And a lot of times I do it with my wife. We'll be somewhere and I look at someone and I say, "What's the problem?" My wife will say, "You started again. Well, leave them alone now." And by the time you engage with them, you see that this guy actually had problems. and yet it's looking so nice. Maybe it could be a cashier at the supermarket, and they're swiping your thing, and maybe they swipe twice, and they make a mistake, and you're like, I think you're having a hard day. Says, no, guys, it's okay. I said, no, I think there's something wrong. And then I'll just say one or two words to them, and they start smiling. Those are the qualities of a leader. It's what you make people feel when you leave them. When they've come in contact with you, how do you impact yourself in them? It's not about what they can do for you or so many things, but simply when they meet with you, how do you leave them? Do you leave them better than they met you, or do you leave them bitter or negative or not comfortable anymore?
Do you think any governor since 1999 in Enugu has ever had that kind of quality we're talking about?
Two people that come to my mind are Jim Obodo and Governor Sullivan. I don't know why, but I would actually always say that. Let me tell you about Jim Obodo. Jim Obodo, the impact he made in my life is not even political. But there are things that have stood out. Growing up, it was because of Jim Obodo that I knew what the other part of the TV, the TV knob. All the time we were using channel 1 to 12. Nobody used the lower part until they came up with the TV station, channel 50. Then we started using the lower part. So that stood out to me. We had only the federal universities in Enugu, in Anambra State then. But when he came, then we started having the state university and IMT and all those things. So he made a big change. We had hotels. I was an architecture student, but he came up with the Kenga Hotel and Nike Lake Hotel, and that was like in a class of its own. The whole environment, the whole thing. So people like that, they made a change, and you could see it. When Sullivan came, you looked around and Enugu just transformed within a short period of time. And when people do this, it affects the lifestyle of the people. You saw youths in Enugu walking with a swag just because of the street lights and the names. It just affects the shows that they put for young people. Some of these things, they might not look like any big deal, but you just see immediate impact on the people. So it's not just about money and infrastructure and all that. It's about the person there, how he communicates with the people. There are some of these governors that when they talk, they actually just switch off the light in you. You actually, you need to take a shot of something to wake you up, because you listen to the governor, you're thinking, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? Somebody do something to me, just do something, slap me, wake me up, something.
You're going by a resume, you're an architect,
yes, sir.
A minister of the gospel,
yeah,
and you have a root foundation. Can we say you have a desire to serve,
yes,
or call to serve?
Yes.
That's one. Then let's look at your perception of leadership. Leadership is about knowing where you are going,
yes,
leading people, showing people the way to go about it,
yes,
and then getting the vision to drive it.
Yes.
What's your vision for Enugu State?
My vision for Enugu State is captured in my manifesto. I hate to use the word manifesto because it's like a cliche, okay? But my vision is captured under the 4-letter word MEGA, MEGA. So I always say I have a mega vision for Enugu State. But we called it out of the manifesto of the African Action Congress, which is represented by Spicer Heat. Okay, I don't want to go into that. But out of that Spicer Heat, we're able to craft our own. And under that MEGA, to show you how we have really thought up, we're deliberate in what we're doing. So even when we say mega vision, those MEGA is deliberate because it also spells out make Enugu great again. Each letter stands for something. The letter M stands for multiplying agriculture and jobs in Enugu State. I'm just going to give you a summary and then we can talk about details later. So M is that. E stands for enhancing the economy of Enugu State. Under enhancing the economy of Enugu State, okay, I'm going to come back later. G stands for providing a great healthcare system for Enugu State. And finally, A stands for bringing about advanced world-class infrastructure into Enugu State. Under M, which is multiplying agriculture in Enugu State. Suffice it to say that I was listening to some of our governorship candidates, and it's funny that some of the things they were not saying before, I'm beginning to hear them say it now, and I'm wondering, have some people been listening to me lately? You know, all of a sudden, everybody's all about agriculture. When I came here before, Charles, you interviewed me once, I said that if I was to have a one-point agenda, it would be agriculture. I've always, AAC in Enugu State is the party that has always stood on that. Other people were not saying it. All of a sudden, I'm hearing all the governorship candidates saying that. I wish I had an opportunity to debate them, and I would like to charge them for copywriting a manifesto. But on a serious note, if there was one thing I want to do in Enugu State, it is just take agriculture and dwell on agriculture. And agriculture is going to form a catalyst for opening up Enugu State, for providing employment, for giving us, for turning us into an economic super city. How am I going to do this? It is not acceptable, never, that in 2019, Enugu State, with good weather, with good soil, if you just drop corn anywhere in Enugu State, it will grow. You don't need to farm it, you don't need fertilizer. But in a state that has that kind of clement weather, we are still importing everything from outside the state. And the shameful thing about it is that we are importing these things from places that are these deserts. We're importing things from up north where they don't even have rainfall. That's not acceptable. Corn that they roast on the street. Go to Akwata. Early in the morning, you see these big lorries bringing everything, tomato, yam, cassava, everything that we can farm here, they bring it from up north. So that's not acceptable. Also in 2019, people are still farming with hoes. When in other places, we are using tractors and combine harvesters that are GPS operated. They don't even have people manning them. You just program it and you just sit back under the shade of a tree, and the tractor tills the whole place for you. And when it's time to harvest, it harvests it. And yet in Enugu State, we are not doing that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use advanced agriculture, mechanized agriculture, large-scale agriculture to revamp the economy for Enugu State and provide employment. Whenever we talk agriculture, people think it's just farming, but they fail to realize that there's so many parts to it. First of all, you have to farm the big farm, and they plant all kinds of crops. That is on its own provides employment. Then there are going to be people that harvest it using mechanized methods. After harvesting, people are going to process it. We're going to store it. We're going to transport it. We're going to package it. We're going to process it into so many things. So there is so much you can do out of agriculture. There are so many byproducts. And this will get, in fact, by our projection, because let me tell you something you don't know. African Action Congress already had a shadow government. We already had everybody that is existing in the government of Nigeria replicated in African Action Congress. So they have sat down, they have analyzed every issue that we see in Nigeria, and we have solutions for them. So under that, we already know that it is feasible. In fact, we have projected that Enugu State will not be able to provide enough to support what we're going to do with agriculture. That is for agriculture. Now, for E, where we say we're going to enhance the economy of Enugu State. Right now, I'm beginning to hear anybody say international market, international market. They were not saying that before. We were the ones that said we're going to, because when you ask them, why are you building the market? I was listening to your program and I heard you asking the candidate, it's not just international market. Everybody's not going to be a businessman. Yes, of course. Why are you doing that? Are you just doing it because somebody said they're doing it? But the reason why we're building the market at those strategic places is because people pass Enugu State to go and shop at Onitsha. That's what we studied. And we saw that they passed through Enugu State to go buy stuff in Onitsha. They passed through Enugu State to go do shopping at Aba, at Port Harcourt. And they passed through Enugu State to go to Lagos. That is the reality of our state. What do? They stop over at Night Mile. And they just sleep over there. That's all we do. And those trailer drivers just mess up our young girls over there. But what we said is, instead of allowing these people to go to market in Onitsha, if we put a market selling that thing that they are going to Onitsha to buy, and we'll make it cheaper for them, then there's no need for you to go to Onitsha. How about an airport? Instead of people bringing in goods through Murtala Mohammed Airport and the airport in Abuja, we're going to turn Enugu Airport, which is already an international, it already has international status, right? But we're going to make the cargo wing a duty-free airport. So all these guys that import things, they will use Enugu, because when they import their goods, they don't have to pay import duties. And then the whole of MNA, guess what will happen? People are going to have big, big warehouses. And you just come, do your business, and big hotels will be there too. You come, do your business, sell your thing, go back into the plane, and back to where you came from. People from China and elsewhere. Just imagine what that would do to the life in MNA. That's what we're going to do about it, enhancing the economy of... see, what the government is supposed to do is just provide the enabling environment. Make it very easy, and then people will come. Because the next thing people are going to ask me is, where are you going to get the money to build the market? Where are you going to get the money to do this? We're not going to build the market. We're just going to provide site and service. As an architect, I know this very well. All the government has to do, we have land. Provide the land, clear it, provide road, provide electricity, provide communication. People will just come and build the shops. That's what we're going to do about the economy and so many other things. And of course, in our expanded manifesto, we have education, we have tourism. All of those things that will boost the economy of the state will come when things start happening. Under the great healthcare scheme, we are going to make sure that people will walk into a hospital, get the treatment they want, and they don't have to pay nothing because the government is taking care of the doctors. How is this possible? It is possible because I experience it. In Canada, where I live, you walk in, you see the doctor, and you don't have to know the doctor. You don't have to smile at a nurse. They do their job. You do your own. Everybody is happy. Everybody goes home. I don't have to know you. I don't have to greet you specially. Here, when you come, you greet the nurse. If you're not smiling, the nurse will say, "Oh, in a time, then you have to beg him or go and bring somebody that knows it." No, none of that. It's a system that works, and this system takes care of itself. Somebody's going to say, "So where are you going to get the money to pay the doctors?" It's because we have planned all of these things. Once we're going to hit the ground running. Once we come and we do this thing with agriculture and we provide jobs and people are happy, then people want to contribute back into the government. When they see you working, when you have the confidence of the people are willing, they're like, what can we do? And when people have extra money in their pocket, they're willing to let go. You know why I know? Go into our churches and see how much we all give in offering. So people do that when they believe that there is a way. So when we come with a government that people trust, they will be able to even pay taxes. And you know it's from the taxes that the government is able to run itself. Finally, under A, which is where we're going to bring advanced world-class infrastructure. Again, as an architect, but not just an architect, as a contractor who knows how to talk the talk and do the do, I have practiced all over the world. I had a company in Abuja, in Asokoro. I was the architect in charge of the 104 hospitals that they did for Rivers State government. And then we also started the international market in Rivers State before the government stopped it. And I've practiced in UK, I've practiced in US, I have a construction company in Canada. Actually, the monorail project that was supposed to have been built in Enugu State, and unfortunately I don't know what happened. I was part of the team that worked on that monorail project by Globe. I've forgotten the name now. I did it a long time ago with them, but it's engineer Chidi. He has his company in Toronto. I worked on that project, and as soon as we get into power, we're going to make sure that project is built. I was in a Ebonyi State, and it's amazing. They're doing theirs, and a place like Enugu State, we've not done ours. It's not right. Ebonyi State is our younger brother state. We, the old man, we can't get our acts together. We should have a monorail running all the way from Gariki to Holy Ghost, and it will meet all of those traffic nonsense that we have along that those roads there, Abani Road and all of those places, because it's going to move a large number of people at once. So we're going to do that. Infrastructure is not just about building roads. People say, oh, they build roads, oh, they are building road everywhere, but what kind of road? You build a road that in 5 months you have to go and maintain it. Why? Because the standard is not up to world-class standard. When you build roads up to world-class standard, they're supposed to last even 25 years. All you have to be doing is like changing the wearing course, the one on top. Like sometimes you take it off, you put another wearing course, but the road itself stays. Can I tell you why? I know it's possible. Go to the old roads. You know, a lot of the old roads that pass through Enugu, they abandoned them when they built the express. Like the one that runs to my village, Ozala. The old road, they used to say that road that they built before the war. Go there, you see that the tar is still there. It's still strong. The ones that they even did with manual rollers and all that. But you know what they do here? I've seen some of their roads. When the road is supposed to be like 7 inches thick, you pour it to be like 12 inches. Then you come with the roller. You keep going back and forth till you compact it to that 7 inches. What they do here is they do it like 8 inches. Run the roller like once and it remains 7 inches. And then somebody approves it because of corruption. And because of the way contracts are awarded, of course, we're going to change all that system. So infrastructure, there's going to be the roads, there's going to be bridges, there's going to be dams, there's going to be transportation. We are actually going to make Keke Napep work with apps. I mean, why not? Why not? Okada should work with apps. You think we're not ready for that? We are ready. Let me tell you something. This government, sometimes they're jokers. If they can do BVN, that's one thing I can give them. The way the banking system is operated, you know, online, it's amazing. It's actually better than so many places. It's so easy to do your transactions, your banking here, right? That's something I give to the banking industry here. So they can do it. Once you type somebody's number, you see their name. So we can do anything that we want online. Even this voting that they're doing, it's just that they don't want to do it because they want to rig the election. Otherwise, we are more than ready. We are past the stage where we should not be doing voting online. So things like Okada and taxis here, Keke Napep, we will use apps to operate them. You want to go somewhere, you pay online. Just recently, I saw some buses saying you can book online. I'm like, you guys are finally waking up. This is something which I've done like donkey years ago. So that's, in a nutshell, my vision for Enugu State, and I will explain more through questions.
Okay, looking for there's an angle of your campaign or your vision that I think is not articulated. Maybe as you say, you go looking at the youth development, because we're looking at the people-driven development.
Yes.
You're looking at what's the place for ICT and the youth in this in your manifesto?
Good. Like I said, we have the core of our manifesto, and then every other thing is expanded. There's so many areas. Let me tell you that our party, the African Action Congress, without apologies, we've said that it is a youth-driven party. You look at me, you look at my comrades, you see who we are. We are young, and we are unapologetic about that because we own this country. We occupy the biggest in the demography of this country. Our base occupies the largest percentage. And let me correct an impression. Normally, the youth bracket should stop around maybe 40-something. But Nigeria is a peculiar case. In Nigeria, we have a case of arrested development. In Nigeria, the age bracket extends up to 60. So when I'm saying youth, don't think it's only at 35, 40. The person that is 55 years has not gotten their first job in Nigeria, so just leave them within the youth bracket yet. Okay? Because in other countries where the youth bracket is like, 18 to 35, 40, 45, by 45, they are talking about retiring. They've already had a job, they've earned a good life, they have savings. You know what I'm saying? But in Nigeria, at 45 years, somebody is still living in their father's house. So they are still youths. They've not even got a job. But back to your question, everything that we are proposing is targeted at the youth. When we went to when you go to Obeta Market, when your phone spoils, when your computer spoils, we did a study and we found out that people don't go to those companies like it's done elsewhere. They go to that rail line where those boys stay and they repair phones. So that is where we have our IT base in Enugu State. We have a proposal to make sure that all those boys are helped, and then we help them to establish their business better. They don't need so much. They need just a little. So we have plans to make sure that we take them out of that place. Not only that, we have plans to absorb them into our educational system. It's no use for someone to spend 4 years, somebody to spend 4 years in the university studying about computers. They come out, they can't even fix a phone. So we're going to bring those boys back into our school to come and teach our people how to repair phones right from when they're in the school. Because at the end of the day, why you are an ICT person, you study everything, you come back, you can't fix a phone? Nothing. I suffered something, and then apologies to some of our lecturers in school. We go through university studying architecture. You do 5, 6 years. Okay, actually 6 years, sometimes 7 years. You come out, you go to the site, and then the guy there turns around and says, Oga, how we go mix am? Which ratio we go mix? And you say, well, you know, we need 20 cm. Like, you don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, Oga, which course, which coach, how many coach can I do? How many coach, you know? If you don't know these things, all that your PhD architecture is nonsense. And we did all that. We came to the site. We had been studying 225 by 150 size of block. When we came to site, nobody was talking 225 and 150. What they were talking is 9 inches and 6 inches. So if our lecturer told us about 9 inches and 6 inches, we should have been better prepared, not to come to site and start being messed up by people who have been there, who learnt it, you know, from street teaching. So that's what we're going. Our educational system, we're going to make it more practical, as it is done elsewhere. Elsewhere, students go for practical training, so that by the time they graduate, they are assimilated into the society better than having theoretical knowledge without practical knowledge. So these are some of the changes that you're going to see in our educational system when African Action Congress takes the mantle of leadership in Enugu State. So we are actually focused on youth, everything that we're talking about.
I want to thank you for your brilliant stuff. About what I discovered is that you're a greenhorn.
Thank you.
And the greenhorn, what kind of structure do you think you have on the ground? The one was that you should start from probably the House of Assembly or to the Senate before talking about the governorship. What kind of structure do you think African Action Congress can do to deliver governorship of Enugu State and impact?
There is no way African Action Congress can function under the system that we have in Nigeria. We can't. We can't.
So are you not sounding idealistic?
Why would I be sounding idealistic? We came into the atmosphere 5 months, and look at what we've done. They didn't know we could do it. People think we've been there for years. We've been here for 5 months. Can you believe it? 5 months, and yet we're the 3rd largest party in Nigeria. We're not talking about other parties that got there. You know, in the election, the parties, so many of these parties were just there. They just like in Enugu State, some jokers recently went to say they are supporting the governor of the state. Those are jokers. They were never in this race for any serious thing. They were just people that were put. I'm telling you.
No, but they have the right to endorse anybody.
Okay.
Instead of calling them jokers, they have the right to do that.
I take it back. Okay. What I mean is, I was actually angry with some of them, and those ones that okay. Let me rephrase. Some jokers, not everybody, and those ones that I call jokers know themselves because I've interacted with them. But later I found out that they were moles. They were moles by some political parties that were put in there to try to destabilize some of us who are serious. And they actually were beginning to succeed. Okay, but thank God that they did not have their way. And then when the chips were down, they ran. you are right, Charles. Everybody is within their right to support the governor of the state, okay? But AAC party, we are here, and we are here to make our mark. We are here to announce our presence, which we have already done, and we are here. We're not going anywhere. not. In fact, very soon they'll begin to see what we are all about with the Take It Back movement after all this election has come and gone. And then when you were talking about why I think you were asking
what kind of structure do you have on the ground to deliver the governorship?
The structure we have on the ground is our base, which is the youth. These are people who are tired of the old system of things. These are people whose future have been ruined. People who, from the time they were born till now, all they have seen is just leadership by selection, not election. It's always whoever is selected becomes the governor of the state. So there's never been an election, really. So these people are the people who are excited about our coming into the political atmosphere. They are people who are animated, and that's why all over the place they are rooting for us. They are ready to vote for us. The unfortunate thing is that we are facing a system which is highly infested by all kinds of ills of rigging and corruption. You see how the presidential election, you see how it is being conducted, and then those are the things that we are all hoping will not happen with the governorship elections. We are hoping that it will go the right way it's supposed to go.
When you emerge governor,
yes,
how would you address youth restiveness as it concerns IPOB, MASOB, and all of these other groups that emanate from the service?
I like people like you. You know why I like people like you? A lot of people will say, if you become the governor, but you just said, when you become the governor. I like that. And that is what happens to people when they've been listening to you and they almost think they're listening to the governor of the state. So thank you very much for that. Now, youth restiveness, youth don't just wake up and start being restive. But you know, a lot of our elders try to use this against the youth. You understand? There is something there. Youth actually, they start complaining. You do it to them first of all. They keep quiet. You know, I like to speak a lot of Igbo, so forgive me. Can I go ahead?
Go.
The youth have always complied. They have always followed. They have always blended with you. But when you begin to take them for a ride, every time they vote for you, when you get up there, you don't look, man. There's hunger in this land, though. I don't know whether you people are seeing what I'm seeing. All over our campaign, able-bodied, that brings tears to my eyes. Years back, you will never see a youth in Enugu stretching out their hand to beg for money. It was beggars that did, but now, all over the campaign trail, once we come in a place, take my card, just give me 1,000, please. It makes me want to cry. I'm like, why did the government allow it to get to this point? Why did you not empower the youth? Why did you not do what they wanted? So coming to the restive youth, yes, they have every right to be restive because the government has not treated them fairly. The government has not used. Do you know that the greatest crime that we've committed against this generation of youth, which I am part of them, is that our resources, the money that belongs to the state, some of our leaders have pocketed the money, and whenever they come and give it to any community, the community will. The community begs them, and when something is done for the community has to come and start clapping for the governor. I tell people that's not true. The governor doesn't have any money. When I become the governor of the state, I don't have any money. My own money is my own personal money, and the salary that I'm paid is my own money. But from that salary, I could never do anything for anybody. The money that is used to work for the citizens of the state belongs to the people of the state. So for youth restiveness, the solution to youth restiveness is for you to engage them, provide what they need as in jobs, empower them financially. If they have money, if they have a job to do, they will not have time to be. What is all this restiveness all about? They're just asking for you to give them what is due to them. That's all they're asking. What is IPOB asking? IPOB is asking, just allow us to be in control of our resources. IPOB is saying, how come you say one Nigeria? When we stay in Lagos, you say Lagos is not your place. When we stay in Kano, you say Kano is not your place. When it comes to our oil that comes from the east, you say it's for every Nigeria. So people like that have a legitimate right to be doing what they're doing. But when a government comes into power, like the AAC government, that believes in equal opportunities for everybody, and you make sure that the resources that are produced in Nigeria goes round, everybody will be happy. And when people are happy, why should they be? You think anybody gains anything by going to engage Mopo or army? No, nobody wants to do that. We're all doing that right from our days in school. We've all been restive because they have not provided what we need. Have you gone into our universities recently? See how many of them stay in one room?
Right, the restiveness, some people think it's misplaced because the restiveness should have been to the governors because there are allocations to the government.
Exactly.
But the restiveness seem to be to the federal government, which is far away from the government, from the people. So what would you really do in terms of breaching that gap?
Exactly. Like I said before, leadership is about the person in authority. You know that the principal or the primary responsibility of the governor of the state is the security of the state. And when we talk about security, people think it's just having policemen with guns protecting people's lives. That is just one of it. But we're talking about job security. We're talking about health security. We're talking about the quality of life of the people. It is your primary responsibility to see that all that is taken care of. So that is what I'm going to do. Look, I'm going to turn the people to me. I'm going to say, hold me responsible. I'm not going to point you to somewhere else. What the politicians have succeeded in doing, which I keep saying is wickedness that God will find a way to forgive them, is that the politicians knew that our people needed to be empowered. They kept this money. I get so infuriated with this. They had this money. You see all this money they are spending now. They had these billions with them. It's wickedness. You had this money 3 years ago. You had this money 2 years ago. You had this money even last year. You refused to bring it out. And when it was time for election, you started. You know the kind of money they're sharing. So you had all this money. You didn't build one factory in Enugu State. So you had all this money, and there are no drugs in our hospitals. So you had all this money, and you did not build roads, and there were accidents on the road. And when these accidents occurred, there were no ambulances to take these people. And when they carried them in buses and they came to the hospital, there was no light in that hospital. There was no generator. There was nothing, and these people died. So you had all this money, and our mothers went to have babies, and the babies died. So you had all this money. I did not provide vaccination for them, and our kids were dying. So you had all this money. I did not put seats in the schools, and our children were going to school sitting off. You are wicked. These guys are wicked. They are wicked. Very wicked. Why are you sharing 1,000? You coming to the same people that you kept hungry, malnourished, sick, and you come back to them and you're offering them 1,000 because you knew that they were going to collect that money. You kept them poor for election period. Because if they were not poor, if you brought that 1,000, nobody would look at you. That was the whole thing they did.
So let's talk about attraction in terms of business attraction into Enugu. What would be your regime in tax?
Yeah.
For instance, because you made mention of it some time ago. I think within this interview, you were saying that the tax would be like church offering and tithes.
Exactly.
Christians give tithes and offerings, and tax is going to be like that.
Exactly.
So,
I'll tell you what.
So does it mean you are going to tax further? Because people are already complaining with this current administration. There are actually
taxing them a lot.
Too many times.
Exactly. See, when you collect taxes for people, taxes are supposed to be used to provide social amenities for people, to provide infrastructure, to run the government. In Canada, I'll talk about the system that I know that works. I am so happy to pay my taxes. I'm so happy because my kids go to school and they don't pay. I go to see the doctor and he does an examination from the hair on my head to the sole of my feet and I don't pay. The light goes off for 1 second and we sue the mayor of the city. My light never goes off. You understand? There are no potholes on my road. My garbage is cleared every time. People come and take routine. They call me and to find out how I am doing. Once my wife has a baby, from that day they register that baby, and the next month my wife starts collecting money from the government because of the baby. We have 2 children, they pay double. They have an account open for our kids. We can't touch that account. They put money into that account so that by the time they are of school age, university age, they will open that account and start paying for their school fees. Why wouldn't I pay tax into that kind of government? If I am found if I am missing, the whole of Canadian military will come to a halt because of 1 Canadian. They will move the Air Force of Canada to a country because 1 citizen is being maltreated there. Why wouldn't I pay taxes to that kind of government? So when we come into Enugu State and we begin to do the right thing, and people begin to see that their roads are clean, people begin to see that garbage is cleared when it's supposed to be cleared. The people clearing the garbage are happy. Not people who are clearing garbage and they are wearing a cloth that says somebody is walking when they are the ones walking. What kind of brainwashing is that? You're walking, you're suffering, but you're wearing a cloth that says another man is walking. So when we do the right thing, when we make our markets up to modern standard, okay, when we do all of that, people will be like, oh my God. They will call, like when you're doing programs, if the governor is talking, somebody will call on the program and say, my governor, how can I help? Is there anything I can do? And then I'll say, just pay your taxes. Is that all? Yes. And when you see the percentage of tax that you're paying, it's just a tiny thing. If they're asked to pay maybe 10% of your income, and you are gainfully employed, and after everything, that is after you've spent every money, you have 1,000 extra cash. Why would you not be willing to give 100 naira back? And do you know what happens in taxes elsewhere? When the government collects taxes from everybody, government will use it. And when they finish using it, the money they make from that, like government will say, give us tax so that we can put fuel in the buses that do transport for us. Because they collect money from those buses. After they collect money from those buses, if the government collected 100,000 from all of us, but they made 150,000, the government will use 50,000 again and share back to everybody. There's something called tax returns. We get tax returns. So after paying your tax, government will say, Mr. Man, we know we took 100 naira from you, but we made profit this year. So that money that you gave us, we didn't use all of it. We made 50 naira. So this is your share of the money. Because the government is not a profit-making body. You realize? So they don't want to use your money. They just want to use your money and provide the service. If there's any extra money they made on top of it, because the government belongs to all of us, who would they give that money to? It is a collective effort now. So we bring the money and we share it amongst all of us again. The governor will get share from that money. The bus driver who made the money will get share from it. All our children will get share for it. But what happens here is that they contribute that money and a few people take that money and they eat it. And they come back and tell you to vote for them.
I think there is a point you made which is very interesting, but I'm looking at the psychology of the people that you want to govern.
Go ahead.
Do they have that kind of orientation and mentality to support the government without suspecting the government? Because it appears that Nigeria, every government, no matter how well intentioned it is suspected as an oppressor.
Yeah.
How do you want to change that narrative?
One of my friends used to joke a lot. Sometimes I think I've made such a big point, and he says, Chidi, you have not made any point. You just stated a fact. So that's exactly what we're talking about. They are suspicious of the government. Why are they suspicious of the government? Because every time they give money to the government, they eat it. They ate it from when they started paying tax. Because the reason why you took tax from me is because you said you were going to provide drugs in the hospital, right? You said you were going to build the roads. You said you were going to build the school. You said you were going to build the market. But you didn't build it. The next year again, you want me to pay tax. I will start dodging. I will say, where is the other money? So, again, the only thing that will make them trust you is when you start doing what you said that you would do. It's not rocket science. The only reason why we don't trust the people right now is that they don't do what they say they will do. And when they do it, they try to tell us that they're doing us a favor. They will say, they did this for us. Did you do it for me? Is it your money? How dare you say you did this for me? You did this. It's not your money now, so stop claiming that you did it for me. It's my money. It's my money. It's the money that they allocated to the state. You are just there as a servant of the people. But you know, it's a flip situation here. As the governor of the state, I, Dr. Chidi, is the servant of the people. What does a servant do? A servant goes to the master and says, how can I be of help to you today? What can I do? You run errands for them. We are going to be running between Enugu State and Abuja and back, and they will ask the people, we went to, this is what they do, we're going to go back. Are you okay? The thing that we did, are you satisfied? If they say they're not satisfied, say, yeah, let's make Oga satisfied now. But it's the other way around. Our leaders become the bosses, and we now become their servants. And we are satisfied with the crumbs that falls off the table of the boss. And when the boss does anything, we are very, very happy. And whenever we want to do something, we want to make sure that it doesn't make the boss angry. A lot of communities, when they want to vote, the only reason they vote is because they say if they don't vote, then the government will not do anything for them. How? We don't get it. If we understand that money, that when it was allocated from the federal government, that there was the name of your local government on that money. If they don't do it, you will continue to protest now till they do it now. It's your money. You don't go. But I agree with you. That's why AAC is about re-engineering people's mentality. It's about changing people's ideology. It's about changing the narrative. And that's why they tell us that we just keep talking. Yeah, but we'll keep talking. When we go into the market, the first thing they say, chola ego. Up at the other guy, when I tell them where that money is coming from, or when I tell them the implication of that money that I'm giving to them, you see a rethink in them. They actually say, no, we don't need your money. Because nobody out of those other politicians is willing to go and reveal these secrets to them. Because if they reveal the secrets to them, the people will hate them. They won't vote for them. So they just, they will not go and make it better. They will not teach you what to turn against them now. So they leave the people wallowing in their darkness, wallowing in their ignorance. But when we remove that thing from their eyes and they begin to see the truth, and they begin to realize their situation, things will change.
All right. You're listening to Urban Radio 94.5. You're listening to the gubernatorial candidate of the African Action Congress, Dr. Chidi Nwanyao. And I'm sure that you have been listening all through what he has said concerning the type of government he would run in Enugu State when he becomes the governor come Saturday. So it's about time for you to call us, ask questions directly to him. And of course, you can react to the things that he also have stated on the air, things you agree, you don't agree, things you think you could have said better that you think he didn't say. This is an opportunity for you to do that. We are extending all the way to 8 p.m. tonight, all right? So it's 08093-999-945 and 08099-945-945. Welcome back. You're listening to Urban Radio 94.5. It is the gubernatorial debate. We're live with a hashtag on Twitter at Urban Radio Guber Debates. Guber spelled Guber. And that's hashtag Urban Radio Guber Debates. You can ask your questions using that hashtag, or better so you can tweet at us. It's at Urban Radio 945. We've been speaking with Dr. Chidi Wanyao. He is the gubernatorial candidate of the African Action Congress, and he's been throwing some light about the issues relating to Enugu State if he's voted in as the governor of Enugu. All right, it's time for you to express yourself. 08093-999-945. And of course, 08099-945-945. Good evening. Your name, location, go on. What's your name? Go on, please.
I want to commend the governorship candidate of AAC. Most of those things you say, they are really something that will take home. But we have a problem in the Enugu State. They don't believe, just like society says, the mentality of our people does not cross over. There should be a particular candidate who has a good voting for them. All they are after is PDP. I'm not against any political party. But that man there has an idea of the problem we are going through. For our people and against our voters to give you opportunity, I think that man has something good for us. Just like the presidential candidate of YPP was the best candidate for me. And this case, I think I also have support for this young man. Let us give him opportunity. Let us not vote according to party. Let us vote according to our conscience and somebody who will be very good for us. Most of the program is so short, that especially the prayer is called about labor. I think I like those ideas. And it's something that will be good for us. And I'm wishing you a very successful outing as you start with the governorship. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Good evening. Welcome. Your name, location. Go on. Go on.
Oh, yes, okay, name. The great again.
Okay, there you.
I greet you, sir. God bless you.
I greet you too.
God bless you. I support you. I believe in you. Even if you don't win, but I believe you will win. God will give you a victory. But I want to ask, if you enter there, will you take people's village land without through consultation with the village? You just take village land, say you do estate or this and that. Because like law school is supposed to be built in Amage. But nothing like take it to Abali. And the estate has reduced it. And now our land for ex-president, we will take it. So I want to ask, will you do like that? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. I'm sure that he would respond when we get back to him. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Name, location. Go on.
Yeah, this is Brother Louis calling from Enugu.
Brother Louis, 1 minute.
Yes. My brother, your vision is very nice. It's supposed to be supported. But I want to put it to you now. There are factors that will militate against this good vision. One is governance forum. You are going to connect yourself with other governors in governance forum where governors do not have the same vision you have. And join hand in hand, a sinner will not go unpunished. So as long as you are in their midst, they would like you to be like them. And if you do not, something else will happen. I don't know how you can, defend yourself from that. Another one is, if you take an oath of office, the Bible says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 33 to 37,
that once any man, Jesus Christ is the one speaking. He said, if you take any oath, you become a child of devil. In James chapter 5 verse 12. So if you take that oath and go into that, and you do not have that power again to, bring out your vision, because another spirits are now taking control of you, taking you out of your vision. How can you then perform?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always interesting.
Good evening, Charles.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Brother Lawrence, coming from Enugu.
Go on.
Yeah, the vision of young man is okay. It's okay. We will all support him. Just like many other ones, all of them, they have said good. That is like this man is more superior than all other ones that have spoken. I want to ask you, can you be able to put all these things that he has said into writing? So that when he gets to the office, if he cannot be able to do according to what he has said, then he know that when we catch him, we will roast him alive. Do with all the things that you can do. Let him put it in writing.
Wow. I mean, I think you should be civil with your conversation on air. This is live radio, and sometimes it's good that, you can express yourself the way you want, but not to the extreme, okay? It's very important. Let's just take 2 phone calls before we get back to His Excellency. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Josh.
Good evening, Marcel. Go on.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening to our global candidate.
Good evening, sir.
I think listening to you, I don't know whether we will say you are one of the men we have been looking for. I think what you have said so far, anybody who believes in any state where he or she comes from, we know you have something in stock to offer. But the fact remains that the political environment where we are might not be a kind of trying to accommodate somebody like you now because of the money politics we do in the country presently. Like I've tried to, investigate that their party, I don't think they have their structure in the 17 local government of Enugu state currently. And without you having such structure, I don't think the party will be making a headway come Saturday this week. Having said that, I believe in what you have said, and not what people have been saying, that politicians, when they come on, they begin to tell us some sweet ways for us to believe them. But when they get into the power, they begin to do another thing. But for you, I don't think you are saying that thing. You're just taking the overs most things that we have been saying all this way. But I encourage you to keep it up. Even at all you don't get it this time around, you can still believe. Continue on what you have been doing. I think we have been trying. Continue preaching. It can only come. Some other governorship, they tell you how many times they have gone into contesting. You might believe them, you might not believe them. Bravo to you. I think most of us would like to work with somebody like you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Let's take the final phone call. Hello.
No, this is Brother Louis, Second Missionary Journey.
Brother Louis, I mean, you have called in before. Can you allow other people to call?
Yes, just a word.
Well, you have asked your question. You asked 2 questions.
There is a book called Animal Farm, where they promise people that there is a kingdom where sugar is being eaten all the time. This is you are telling us, is it not resembling that story in Animal Farm?
I'm so sorry, we'll have to let that go. So it's back to the government.
But you don't address this issue.
Yeah, I mean, just go on.
Well, we just start from the sugar. All right. First, I want to thank the guy from YPP, a presidential candidate, Amoyele Shore, is a very good friend of Moralo, Kingsley Moralo. And you know that himself, Kingsley Moralo, and Fela Durotoye represent the young ones and the progressive ones and the ones who are going to change the future of Nigeria. So we're in this together, and we welcome your seeming endorsement of our candidature in Enugu State, because I know YPP doesn't have a governorship candidate. So let's do this together. Thank you for the good things you said about us. The second person from Ameichi, and you were asking whether I would take people's land when I become the governor. I think the simple answer is no. Why should I take your land? Your land is your land, And we would, let me tell you the kind of government that we're going to run. I always tell people, before I don't care whatever system, okay, I'm not saying I don't care, I'm not supposed to say that as a leader. I care about the system, but we will look into that system, and our approach to working with the people is that before we begin to come up with a budget for Enugu State, councillors are not working. And you know why councillors are not working? Because they are not voted by the people, they are selected. When councillors are voted in, are selected by the people in the community because they know who represent them. If you allow them to actually select somebody who represent them, the councillors working with the traditional rulers, working with the President General of the development unions of the villages and the towns, they will come together and decide what they need within their community. They will write it down. They will hold their town hall meetings, and it will be budget town hall meeting where they will say, this is what we would like to see done with our community. This is what we want to do in our community, because you are the one, our community, our society, we are Igbo people. We're the kind of people who do things for ourselves. We don't wait for anybody to do it for ourselves. So we say, this is what we want to do. When every community has gathered what they want to do, then we will look at it at local government level, and we'll select what we will embark on. Then we'll bring it to the state level, so that when this money comes, it will go back to the people. The people are going to be part of deciding which contractor does the contract in their area, so that the contractor will be responsible to the people. The contractor needs to understand that it is the people of a community who are giving you these contracts from their own share of the money of the state, not the other way around. The money, when it comes, is the money of Enugu State. Then it is now shared to the communities. The community will now use it to engage you, and you will keep your equipment in their village, so that when you begin to mess up, they will block you, or they will seize or they will remove the battery from the head of the tractors, and they will not move. Not when you come from somewhere, they don't know when the contract is awarded, they don't have any responsibility towards them. You just come to their village, do trash, and just leave, and they can't say anything. So that's the kind of government we're going to run. So your land is your land. If there is need to do anything according to the land use decree, it is something that we will talk with you. It has to be something that is beneficial to everybody. After all, there is no, like in Enugu State, we don't have Enugu State and then we have local government. It is the different wards that make up the state. So there is no state, and then there's not a place that we call Enugu State, and then the other place is the village and the local government. But that's the kind of feeling people get. People think Enugu State is Enugu Metropolis, and then the villages are now the other places. So we're not going to take your land. Then Brother Lewis, he talked about spirits and oath and all of that. Let me tell you something. Some parties, when you want to join the parties, I'm aware of that because I've seen that. They call you and they make you take some oaths. In African Action Congress, you don't take any oaths. You don't belong to any group or society. You just come as you are. If you qualify, if you meet our criteria for participating in any position, we allow you to participate. So you are not coming back to appease any gods or any spirits or take any oaths. So please don't be afraid. If you want to work with AAC, there's no oath.
No, sorry, I'm not stopping, but let me read that. We said, if you win the governorship,
yes, you
are going to swear an oath of allegiance.
Okay.
According to the Constitution.
Oh, okay, so yes. Okay, that's what it means.
Is that not contradicting your faith?
No.
Okay, that's I'm not just asking.
I am actually Reverend Dr. Chidi.
Good.
So I am not someone who is is not conversant with Christianity. I'm a Christian in scriptures. And the very basic scripture that could actually address that is where Christ says, give what is to Caesar, right? So we will pledge allegiance to the Constitution. The Constitution is just the laws of the land. And the Bible that I know has never instructed us to go against the laws of the land. So I don't know if there is any contrary, but that's the Christianity that I know. So I will take the oath of office and I will abide by the Constitution of Nigeria and the Constitution that guides Enugu State. And if there are places that we need to make amends, we go through the process of making those amends and we will have it rectified. Now, Brother Lawrence from Nkerefi says he will roast me alive. And honestly, Brother Lawrence, although as Charles have said, we are cautious about the language we use online, but that will be what we will be asking you to do. You know, it's funny when a certain political party says, if we don't perform in 4 years, kick us out. And when we wanted to kick them out, they started complaining, but they just told us that if they don't perform, we should kick them out. So we will be asking you to hold us responsible and hold us accountable, that once we get into power, if we don't do what we promise, because we are not going to promise you what we cannot deliver. That's why we don't have a bogus manifesto. That's why we don't have a manifesto that is very embellished. It's very simple. We're talking about agriculture. We're talking about things that are practical, things that you can touch, things that are already existing, as he has said, that these are things that they already know. And then somebody's talking about he's being afraid that with the system existing in the state, we may not have a chance in the politics of the state. I really don't agree with him, but yes, it is true. We have a dominant party in the state. This is a fact. But AAC, like I said, has been here for 5 months. And what we have been able to achieve in 5 months, if anybody is wise and he looks at the trajectory of where we're going, he will know that we have come to stay. And then we will continue to build on the successes that we have recorded so far. And then we will get eventually to where we're going, because we are focused, we know our destination, and we have what it takes to get there. About party structure, we have our structure in the 17 local government areas. Our mode of operation is very unique. It's not the usual thing that people know about parties, and that's why they don't understand us. They've not been able to figure us out. If they knew if they had demystified us, they would not have allowed us to get close to where we got to. A clear example is when we wanted to have a debate with the government, and they clearly gave an option that if Omoyele Sowore was going to be in that debate, they were not going to come. And so they kept changing the goalposts halfway into the football match. So we have come to stay. After this election, you will still hear about the Take It Back movement, because that's what we're all about. We're not politicians. Right. We're a movement that has a political party.
All right, then. Thank you so much. The gubernatorial candidate, Dr. Chidi is a gubernatorial candidate of the African Action Congress. We want to say thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much
for reeling out what you will do when you become the next governor of Enugu State. We want to wish you all the best. Just 1 minute for you to summarize and then to talk to the people who are headed to the polls on Saturday.
In the Enugu State, what I want us to know is that I don't want you, especially those of you in several communities who are the president general of your community, I don't want you to vote out of fear. Vote with your conscience. Don't vote because you say if you don't vote, then they will not do anything for you. Vote because you will be able to make a statement with your vote. I know you all have heard me, and you know that I and African Action Congress is what Enugu State needs. When you go to vote on Saturday, nobody is there to see who you're voting for. It's between you and your conscience. And if you think that Dr. Chidi Cadet Wayang, that I am what Enugu State wants, that I am what Enugu State needs, then vote for African Action Congress. God has already made it very easy for us and has chosen me as the number one on the ballot paper. So I am the first, I am the number one on that ballot paper. So let's vote for the number one party on the ballot paper, the African Action Congress. Thank you so much, and God bless every one of you.
All right, then. Many thanks to all of the team, of course, that have put this together, the team of the social media handle. If